The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Why dost thou sit upon my grave and will dead lips to speak? Why dost thou weep upon my grave and will not let me sleep? My breast it is as cold as clay, my breath is earthly strong, and if you kiss my cold clay lips, your days they won't be long. How oft on yonder grave, sweetheart, where we were wont to walk, the fairest flower that e'er I saw has withered to a stalk. When will we meet again, sweetheart? When will we meet again? When the autumn leaves that fall from trees are green and spring up again. How oft on yonder grave, sweetheart, where we were wont to walk, the fairest flower that e'er I saw has withered to a stalk.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McStabber Studios, Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodied Fields, Episode 2. I am, of course, the storyteller, Shanky McStabber.
I am Zachary Naldra, he, him. And tonight I will be playing Brother Jacob of the Hecata.
Blessed unholy evening to all those it applies to. I am Astrid Dean, playing Priscilla Caspian, our brewhopper this evening.
Hi, I'm Beetle Spock, he, him. I am playing Trevor Daniels, the Park Ranger Clan Gangrel.
When love and hate turn strange, and magpies filch the hours, and Judas limbs betray, know you're a figment of the shadow sleeper's dream. When we were last playing this game, it's been a while, so I'm going to give a little bit longer of a summary than usual of the previous episode. Four kindred were tasked by Alan Sovereign to go out to the middle of nowhere, Harfield, Illinois, to investigate a missing Camarilla ambassador. He's a diplomat from Europe by the name of Elliot Stanton. Had an important message for Prince Jackson, but he never arrived. So they were sent to find out why, hopefully find the diplomat, but most importantly, find the message. That is the important part of it all. And so they set out in a van to Harfield, Indiana, land of corn. And along the way, they had an encounter in the Goblin Roads. A creature older than time itself, it seems, paid them a visit. It damaged their vehicle, but they came out unscathed from that. When they arrived in this town, the first thing they saw was Welcome to Harfield. Population 665. Very small number of people. But that wasn't the strangest thing. The strangest thing is, even though it is far past the season for corn to be growing, the fields still are full of green and healthy corn stalks, growing well out of season in ways it shouldn't. The first place they went, of course, was to the Hotel Harfield, where they met a Tremere named Lydia, who claims to be, she won't claim prince, but she oversees this Camarilla domain. A domain that cannot support many kindred at all. This group knows there has to be at least one other in the city somewhere. They've heard rumors about it, but they don't know exactly where. And Lydia, after speaking with them, her exile from Clan Tremere has made her quite receptive to any agents of Prince Jackson. But she honors the domain of those who stay in Hotel Harfield, and because of this, she is not willing yet to open the room of the diplomat to look for any evidence of foul play. She told the kindred, settle in for the night, rest during the day, and tomorrow, if the diplomat has not shown up, she will allow entry. Now, from this hotel room that they're in, they can see across the way there is motorcycle shop and diner. Rob's motorcycle shop and diner. It's two separate buildings. An abandoned gas station. They can see a cemetery with numerous lights that were going on in it. Apparently that cemetery attracts paranormal investigators. And as they were coming into town, the only other place they saw that was interesting was the Last Chance Saloon, an obvious biker bar. And where we pick up, Lydia has left the kindred to their own devices, with a warning, of course, do not feed from anyone staying at the hotel, coming from the hotel, or leaving the hotel. And this group, I believe, was deciding whether they were going out for the night. Now, as everyone can see, we're missing one of our kindred is not here tonight. Caleb, the Nosferatu, he is still with them, but as going to be plainly evident, he won't be with them long. And I open up and turn it over to the players as they discuss their game plan for going, I believe, to the Last Chance Saloon.
I don't get out much. So I guess socializing isn't always my thing, especially with the rough and tumble kind of types.
I mean, I get out, just not this type of out. It's more removed in my socializing as well. Doesn't apply. There's not enough of an overlap. Evolution on many levels has taken care of that.
And yet they persist. I'm not exactly sure. The talking that I tend to do is generally more considered preaching, which may not necessarily go over well. So if you want me to take the lead with the social cues, I can.
Not take the
It may
lead,
not.
but maybe we play off each other. Careful, you know.
Let's see what happens.
There's likely some in this area. I mean, come on, that are going to be into, no offense, sir, but that sort of drabble. And if not, I can just kind of step in and just be like, oh, don't worry about my friend, and kind of put you in your place in front of them, no hurt feelings. Of course, got to make them feel like Everything's cool. Just, we gotta have contingencies. Backups to the backups of our backups. You get what I'm saying?
I suppose.
That's just to me very clear not to stir up any trouble. Well, at least around the hotel, but
I mean, it's,
Either way, the van needs fixing.
it does.
And from what we understand, we will find people who can help with that there.
all right.
In the storyteller garage, it's closed at this time of night, correct?
Which is closed?
The garage?
The garage is closed, but the diner is apparently open. You can see it from your window.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
Priscilla just kind of shrugged. She goes, I suppose I could, as the kids say, muster up the spoons to do some networking.
the bar. I mean, this is the biker
Yeah.
bar. They're obviously going to have full of mechanical knowledge.
Exactly. We go in, we let them know we're looking, for some business, just to wet our whistles a little bit, make it seem like it. We make some inquiries. I mean, we're new. People have already pointed out what the hell you got going on with your vehicle. So who knows? We might not have to do too much work in that regards.
Storyteller, about what time of night is it?
At this point, you'd put it about 3 a.m.
How busy is the diner of a town of less than 666 people
There's the odd
at 3
part.
a.m.?
It's very odd. It appears, from what you can see, it's hard to tell for sure, but based on there's a number of trucks actually in the parking lot. It is busy. I wouldn't call it packed, but it has a number of people in it. And you recall from driving into town, the Last Chance Saloon had an easy dozen bikes out in front of it, even at this hour.
I'm sure the rabble are used to that. So
I expect the bikers to be out till daybreak anyway.
Either or, they're not ones to follow fire codes.
Oh,
let's go before us. The diner will probably open until we need to take shelter from the sun. Bar may close slightly earlier. It seems like the most logical place, and
Time management.
he's just going to start going towards it.
And as you step out of your hotel room, you run into, there's a pair of men in the hallway across the hall from you. You're in room 203. They're going into room 205. And both of them seem young. You'd swear they're related based on how they look, early 20s. But as you come out your door, they turn, they've got a set of green suitcases with them. Late check-in too?
Something like that. We had some car troubles on the way here.
I'm Daniel, my brother Evan. Did you come for the ghost hunting? Did you come to go see Emmanuel? I mean, what brings you to this place?
I have always been rather close with the spirits.
We're going to be going doing that tomorrow night. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh. Where have you scattered out already?
Oh, we just got here. We're just checking in tonight. We haven't gone anywhere yet. Got lost like 3 times getting here. And the guy next to him, that Evan, just nods his head. And so we got here awful late. I'm just glad that they don't mind late check-ins in this place.
It is a blessing. And I am going to use Scry the Soul on them.
Okay. Pull this up. So you are going to roll. It is a rouse check, and you roll intelligence aspects.
I do not get hungrier.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get this.
It's against composure subterfuge. If you're going to do Fantasy Grounds, you check all specs first, then drag the die from intelligence and drop it on the chat window. That's how the easy way to do it with Fantasy Grounds. Otherwise, you can just roll your own dice. It's up to you. 4 with a crit. Very nice. You have a margin of 2 on this one. I'm going to give you something special after you ask your 2 questions about what you'd like to know about them.
Anything supernatural about them,
None that you can,
including the possibility that these ghost hunters have ghosts following them.
there is nothing supernatural at all about them. They appear to be mundane kind.
Their emotional state.
They are excited, a little bit spooked out, but very excited. And as you're looking at their soul, you notice something odd about their aura. There is something affecting it subtly, shifting it some. You wouldn't say it's anything you've seen. It can't be dominated. It can't be an overt power, but something is playing with their emotions right now at this moment.
If I recall, in the last session, there was something that he had discovered, some ley lines.
Yes, and
would it be reasonable to make a connection between this sensation that they are feeling and those ley lines?
no, the ley lines are generally not intelligent. You can tell by the way, the subtlety of this, there is an intelligence behind the manipulation of their aura. Well, we got to get checked in. We're tired. We need to get some rest. Hopefully I'll run into you tomorrow sometime. Go and say, at least say goodnight to him, Evan. Hey, yeah, good night.
Go in peace.
And they head in their room and shut the door. And so you all are heading out of the hotel. You don't see another soul. None of the workers. Nobody's at the front desk as you step out into the night. And the night it's a bit chilly. And there's a low-level fog that wasn't there when you went into your rooms, hanging about everywhere. It's not much of one, but it's a slight haze. Now, you know, to get to the Last Chance Saloon, it is straight down the road that you're next to, straight south from your hotel. Easy way to go. Give me wits
Fog?
streetwise.
Does this fog remind us at all about the fog we ran into?
Yes, it moves in a way that does not suggest wind or wind currents, much like the Goblin Roads did. It's a wit subterfuge roll.
The future, you said streetwise?
Yep. Or wits, yeah, sorry, wits streetwise. Sorry. Yep.
Sure.
At least I didn't say to roll death athletics.
3.
3?
3.
3.
2.
As you're walking, followed, of course, by Caleb, something odd in the street. You keep feeling as if you're turned around. You keep feeling that you don't remember seeing these buildings as you were walking or as you drove past. As though it's a straight shot, it's easy. You get about 2 blocks from your hotel when you realize the 4th member of your group is no longer with you. Caleb, who's there, is just gone.
Caleb? Wait. I mean, I can't really tell, but did he just
I mean,
vanish?
that is the kind of thing that they do.
Someone his size can't be hard to miss, but he's easy to miss because of his talents.
all we know, he's still right behind us.
On that note, can I do like a kind of like one of those general sense the beast to see if I can basically kind of pick up on his like energy signature?
Sure, I will let you use that one. That's actually one of the kind of things you can do with it.
Cool.
Sense the
That's-
beast. There's no rouse check for sense the beast, of course. It's
Nope.
resolve animalism.
Thank you. Just looking that up. So, animalism, that's gonna be. That's weird. For some reason, I have animalism as Protean on my sheet. I need to fix that.
Yeah, that's one of the weird abilities that kind of, yeah. There's some
Sure.
issues in the book.
3, 4. That is 3 successes.
3 successes.
No, I'm sorry, 4.
4? You
Yes.
do not sense anything other than the 3 of you. Though, at the edge of your mind, somewhere in your senses, something, it's almost like biting on tinfoil about this place. It's a low-level hostility seeping, I mean, if you can believe it, from the fog itself.
Oh, dear. Oh,
What would
wild theory. Just gonna throw it out there. Maybe it's not the rabble that did a swiper, but maybe it's the earth itself. I've been told some things over in my ears.
That did a swiper.
Okay, swiper. It's a reference to a kid show. So he vanished, okay? Anyway, like
yeah.
got
I mean-
swiped. Anyway, explain it to you another time. Maybe. I mean, we exist, right? Who or what is to say that the entities of the earth do not exist? Again, just putting that out there. I'm just let that rumiate. Forward on, yes.
I'm gonna do. Can I do eyes of the beast just for a quick second to
Oh, yeah,
gauge
that's
it?
an
Any
easy
like
one.
any super?
The eyes of the beast let you see as clear as day. And when you invoke it, urge your blood forward, the fog resides a bit. The shadows clear up. The street is completely empty. Not a body walking around the place right now. But you don't see anything out of the ordinary. The fog does appear to be normal fog, even though it moves. Even when you walk through it, it doesn't swirl like it should behind you.
It looks like normal fog, but it seems like an illusion of some sort. I can't place my finger on it. It's not moving like fog. Normally
gonna-
does.
I'm going to rouse the blood and use sense the unseen.
Okay. So since you're willingly using it, it'll be resolve all specs. Lots of power use in this. I don't blame you. It's unsettling, isn't it?
All right. I do get hungrier, and I got 4 successes.
Your beast actually speaks very low in your head. Can't you feel it? It's all around us. It's not sleeping, but it's not awake either. And as you open yourself up to sense the unseen, you can see the ley lines. You can see a convergence about this place. From here where you're standing, you can see 3 intersecting at a point. Well, if your direction sense is correct based on the direction you were walking to this bar, to the northwest. You see no other people. You see no Caleb. No evidence that he was even here. You see no lingering magical effects of any kind.
Well, it's either really good or something way better has found him. Either way, or it seems as that would deter from the mission. Soon he will turn up, or he won't. But either way, we still have to more pressing issues.
New onwards. Yes, yes.
Soon the van is fixed, a safer I'll probably feel at this point.
As you're walking and talking, you realize you've walked more blocks than you should have. But finally, ahead of you is the Last Chance Saloon. You don't understand why it's about 3 blocks further than it should have been, but you have found it. Ramshackle. Looks like a 2-story building. You'd guess that there's somebody lives above it, possibly the owners. Out front, still 12 bikes lined up. You can vaguely hear music coming from outside. And there's a lone guy standing by the door. About 6'2", got to be 350, 400 pounds. You'd guess it's not all muscle. He's wearing a leather jacket, blue jeans, just leaning by the door.
I imagine the smell of this place is going to be quite pungent, even from this distance, at least for us. For me.
I mean, I do not have heightened senses on, so.
Well,
You do have that vague smell of oil, leaking oil, rubber, burnt oil off of hot or hot engines as it burns from the bike sitting out there.
shall we say hello?
I'm going to vibe check this guy again and use Scry the Soul.
Okay. Go ahead. Intelligence specs.
2 successes.
On that note, I'll go ahead and use Sense the Beast as a backup.
Yeah, I was going to do the same.
Okay. Both of you can roll your Sense the Beast if you wish. Go ahead.
Oops.
For Sense the Beast, you're going to roll Resolve Animalism.
Yeah, I'm spinning a willpower because otherwise that would be a bestial failure.
That would be fun. Come on.
It's too early. Okay, we got one.
Got one. For you, Zach, you can't sense anything coming off him. Brother Jacob picks up nothing.
Continue walking towards the bar.
For Sense the Beast, something about him. You don't pick up any hostility. You don't get a feel for him at all. He's there. You know he's there, but you don't feel. This individual apparently has a very tight control over themselves, is the best you could guess. And as Brother Jacob approaches the door, the man steps in front of it. We don't serve your kind here.
We're just looking to talk to someone.
Did you get what I said? We don't serve your kind. That means no drinks for you, right?
Yeah, I understand what you say. I'm not here for drinks.
Just a conversation. Besides, they're not alone. You'd say they have a team of overseers. But that suffice.
Boss isn't in.
I mean, if boss isn't in and promise to help you keep an eye on him, just here to talk. That's all.
Just remember what I said, no drinks for you.
You just look at
Understood.
him.
This ain't your turf. And he steps aside and leans back against the door or against the wall beside the door.
Okay. Yeah, give this guy another once over, and I open the door and go right in.
When you open the door and walk in, the guy doesn't even look at you as you walk past him after that point. You step inside, you'd put an easy dozen and a half people, 18 rough count, not counting the man behind the bar. All of them are wearing jackets that have outlaws on the back. Every single one of them. And as soon as you step in, they all turn to look at you and watch you with barely constrained hostility. And all talk stops, goes completely silent, other than the music coming from a jukebox. Hank Williams, as a matter of fact.
Evening, folks.
Nobody says anything.
What patches are they all full member patches, or?
Yes, you would guess so. They all look identical.
All right. Titles. Do we have any sergeant at arms, any vice presidents, anybody who looks to be more than a member?
There's one guy that everyone seems to cut eyes to every once in a while. Not what you would expect. Short, barely over 5 foot tall, wiry, pretty damn thin. But they all keep cutting eyes to him and then back to you.
Does his patch have any insignias to indicate position or rank?
Not that you can tell, but his jacket does look a bit older than the rest of them. A little more threadbare, a little more worn. He's had it much longer than the rest for sure.
Do these have like name tag or like last names or
No.
whatever nicknames on them? No.
Yeah, I'm walking up to the scrawny guy.
When you get close, he looks over to the two guys next to him, stands up, walks around the table to stand right up by your face. I know. Cue ball told you, right?
I'm assuming you're referring to we'll say gentleman at the door.
Yeah, bouncer.
Yeah. We are not looking for anything other than someone who.
Dude, it just answered the question.
Yeah, we. Burning Moonlight.
Yeah, he was told. And I've already given him a guarantee that I'll help y'all make sure that, he keeps his britches on, essentially.
Boss ain't here tonight.
Yeah, all the more reason. You got an extra eye. And plus, I know him. So I know his fucking tells.
We don't need your help. You can rest assured of that.
Okay.
We're just looking for somebody who works at the garage.
It's closed right now. But you're looking for Vera. She runs a garage. This time of night, you'll find her over at the diner. Brother Rob runs it.
Can I do how I don't know if it's still up, but sense the beast on this as well?
You still, it's passive. Technically, since the beast is always
Right.
active.
Sure.
But I can tell you now, you can feel hostility just in his face. And you don't know what you've done to make him so hostile. But it's clear he's got a preconceived notion when you came in. All of them do.
You know what, gentlemen? These fine folk have told us where we can find who we're looking for. How about we just leave a nice, hearty tip for the bartender, thank them all for our time. We'll make our way on over to the diner.
When Emmanuel wants to speak with you, he'll let you know.
I'm sure he will.
Give him our best. Peace be with you. And on that, he turns and heads out.
And not a sound is heard. They just the jukebox as they watch you leave.
Is the jukebox on the way to the door?
Yeah. Right by the door.
Stop by the jukebox. What is it? Is it one of those old jukeboxes that actually has records or
Yes.
tapes that it's not one of these modern ones where you just pick up songs?
No, it looks like a 70s rock-trolla.
All right. So,
Complete with 45s.
yeah, I'm going to fish out a couple quarters, play Black Sabbath, Iron Man, and then I am going to play I Got You, Babe by Sonny and Cher.
Okay. I will say that they're on there.
And before heading out.
And they just look at you, stare at you as you mess with the jukebox. As you step out, cue ball's still leaning against the wall. Told you he wasn't in.
How long have we been there?
5 minutes tops.
All right. I'm going to use Cloud Memory on cue ball.
Okay. No room for that.
That's
That's an automatic
all right.
because he wasn't expecting it. And his
So, yeah.
eyes glaze over. Do you leave before his eyes cease to glaze
Yeah.
over so that when he finally gets his faculties back, you're gone?
Yeah, I figure it's been short enough time that he is going to completely have forgotten that we came and left.
Okay. You all slip away. Easy to do it. You just step around the building. You can even hear him when he suddenly goes, What the hell? Oh, shit. It's getting too late. Tired of this place. As you all start walking, where do you go now?
Guessing the diner, next best option.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm going to make you roll, right? Wit streetwise.
Of course.
Yep.
And this is the start of a new scene, correct?
Yes, it'll be the start of a new scene.
2 successes. Did it? Yeah, it's true.
3 successes.
I got 5 on it.
Nice.
5. I'm going to reward 5. I like to reward rolls like that. As you're walking towards the diner, you realize, Brother Jacob, something is screwing with, can't say the lay of the city, but something is trying to steer you off course. Pulling your eyes away from the direction you want to walk, pulling your eyes towards an incorrect direction. trying to turn you and make you feel like you haven't turned. It's very subtle, but it's pervasive. And as you're walking towards this diner, not falling for it, you do walk past the cemetery. There is an old church you can see, very old 1800s church you can see sitting there. And at this point, most of the people that were in the graveyard, you don't see the lights of the paranormal investigators anymore. But you walk up the street towards the diner. And as you get to where the motorcycle shop obviously closed, diner, and across the street, the gas station, Brother Jacob, it hits you with a sudden awareness with the way the ley lines were earlier. The locations of the gas station, the diner, the cemetery, the church. There is a pattern of sacred geometry here. And to reward your nice roll, because you do have 3 dots in occult as well, the sacred geometry being used is a cage.
Something the matter?
Something is being kept here.
What do you mean?
I mean, the energy of this city is designed in a pattern to trap something.
Is it like one of those things we got on the way here?
Is it,
It's-
do you know whether the trapping itself is, I'm thrown off because you said that energy was designed to be a cage. So is it like a corporeal being? Is it something that's been imbued in the earth? Is there some sort of French safe medieval sort of mechanism hiding it away in someone's cellar or attic? You've thrown me.
There are ley lines of some sort that are designed in a manner to trap something.
But we don't know the extent of the something, or whether there's something maybe. That's fantastic. So that's so many more ways that we could just get up, fuck. Great.
Harvey, what you said is pretty much gibberish to me.
I mean,
I'm more on the practical side. Well, this ley lines and spirits, I don't know how to handle all that kind of stuff. I'll be honest.
You don't trap a supernatural being with the cages of man. The holy, the divine, the wicked, the monstrous. Takes a little bit more. That could just mean us, for all I know. Or there could be something worse than us in this town.
You kind of see a look of a bit of a concern, worry, maybe some terror. I've only encountered these several times, but what about those the wolves? Do they require such cage? I don't know.
The children of the mortal children of Anonia. I can't say. I have not seen what. I have seen one of the pelt of one that was used as a rug, but not a living one.
And they call me in the coterie that I have come to call a family barbaric. On that note, the one who usually knows of the laying of the lines and interactions with this horrid beast. Well, starting to realize I should have paid a lot closer attention. For now, we keep going forward, because if there's one thing that I know, the longer you stay in place, the larger the target becomes on your back.
That's
Yet,
true. Let's get in the diner.
we must be calm, because the target will also grow them.
As you approach the diner, the motorcycle shop, it's got a full bay, so you're pretty sure you could get your van there. It is closed, of course. It says it actually closes at 7 p.m., which will make it difficult to go by there during the day. But as you approach the diner, there's several rigs in the parking lot. Looks like it's a truck stop style diner. But you put 20 people in there, which is odd for this time of night for a town that small. It's well lit. You see a woman behind the counter, and as you walk in, they seat yourself, sit here at the counter, you can take a booth, whatever you want. I'll be with you in a minute, hon.
So with this new since the beast, I have like instinct. I don't think these people are obviously not hostile, but can I like kind of sense like the reasons they're to be here?
No.
Like, no, you don't get that.
Unlike the bar, the people in here don't look at you with hostile. There's some curious, some you'd almost swear look at you with anticipation and eagerness.
Friendly folk.
Knowing what we've been told, there's no one who fits a description of Emmanuel or the our target.
Not that you can tell.
Okay. Anybody else look particularly out of place?
Not at all.
All right.
You can identify easily the truckers. They're not the ones looking at you with anticipation, for sure. The rest of them, you'd guess they're locals by the casualness of their clothing.
What was the name of the woman with the
Vera.
Mac shop? Vera.
Vera's the one who runs the shop and is behind the counter. She even has a tag. Says Vera on it.
I mean, same difference. Priscilla was just gonna, find herself find a booth, motion for the gentleman to sit across from her, and just wait for the lady to show up.
It's not long. She comes over. You must be new here. Tourists?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Can I get you something? It's kind of late. Cup of coffee?
Bit of a night out. My system's always been a little out of whack.
Yeah.
Gentlemen?
I'm okay.
So, Vera, is it? We were actually hoping to speak with you. See, our van had some issues on the drive here.
What kind of issues?
I don't want to blame it on the driver for not seeing the low overpass. There's some damage to the roof, though.
I think you're in luck. I happen to have a welder. I've got quite a bit of sheet metal. You'd be amazed how people bring their bikes to the garage to be fixed, but also want me to do some custom work on it. So if you want to drop it off, I'll take a look at it.
Yes, well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I guess while we are new in town, for the moment. What would you suggest we view while we're visiting here?
She eyes you up and down a bit. A lot of people like to go and check out the graveyard, the old church, cornfield. Lovers like to go out there for a little tryst and sneak off farm hands once in a while.
Now, who wouldn't? Well, probably besides me, but who else? What?
I mean, really, that's about all there is in this small little town is cornfield and the graveyard. The graveyard's been around, well, since the town was founded.
In the old church.
Same era.
She gets a odd look on her face. Yeah, it's not used much anymore. Like,
It's a shame.
the Methodist congregation's long gone.
Where do people practice, attend service?
You'll find we're more spiritual than purely religious here, so we don't really do a lot of the services. We do have our big harvest festival, and we have our planting festival, and that's about what we do most of the time. You know, I could. There's a lot of info on that if you get the Farmer's Almanac. We have our own Farmer's Almanac made in here in town.
Oh, well.
You can probably get one. Library's got some. If you're a tourist, let's see, that puts you at the Hotel Harfield. I'm sure that you can get one there. If you go look at the information rack in the lobby, they may have a couple copies sitting there.
I will look into that. Thank you, Vera.
No problem. Just let me know when you're ready to order. And she takes off to go hit another group of customers. But while you're sitting there, there's a woman been in the back, that one of the back booths has been watching pretty close. And the moment Vera wanders off, the lady comes over and sits down right beside Priscilla.
Friend of yours?
And she leans forward a bit and
She
whispers,
says, "Evening."
"Hey, I saw you all come in. You come to give me a special kiss?"
What? I don't lean that way too. Is that some sort of special code I'm supposed to know about? No, gentlemen.
Was that loud enough? Because you said she whispered.
She whispered so that all three of you could hear it. I mean, you can take it from my wrist. You can get it from my neck if you want.
My child, this night is not looking good for, at least for me.
Normally, that's why your kind come in here, right? You're hungry.
I'm going to glance between the other two.
I'm fine. I have my own.
Are we wearing something that's, some sort of like passcode to like some secret underground or something? Because you got us confused. For
Pale
somebody.
skin, real pallid look. Come here, tourist night, this time of night. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't hide it. I know what you are. Hell, most of us do.
And why are you all just here? I mean, a diner at this time of night.
Well, of course. We come to eat, and we're here in case one of you get hungry.
I'm sorry. You
Ma'am,
gather because in case we get hungry.
That's the way of the town. It's the way it's been.
My child, what is your name?
I'm Joan.
Joan, so How about, as you can tell, we are new in town. I'm sure a town this size, the fact that you were able to spot us means that you know enough to know that we are not here regularly. To put our concerns that you were completely above board, would you mind just confirming who it is that you have seen coming to provide special kisses, as you call them in the signer?
Oh, Lydia comes by sometimes. We don't see Emmanuel that often. Once in a while. And we get passing people here and there, not often. Mary Art sometimes comes, not often. No, she. I think she only comes here when she's desperate.
Has there anybody been new, let's say in the past week, maybe two?
Don't remember seeing any coming here. I don't come here every night. It's just once in a while. You'll find it. It's not like there's a schedule. We just, come when we feel like it.
Of course. You can quit anytime you want. And this Mary Art, you said?
Yeah, nice girl. Kind of wild, but she comes once in a while. I don't know where she spends most of her time, just every once in a while. I've heard some people said they've seen her out towards the cornfield some nights, but.
Well, from your description, that does not sound out of character for her. Now tell me, storyteller, this is going to see. I'm not quite sure how to ask this. So with my prey exclusion, am I fairly certain that I could not consider her an innocent?
Oh, there's no way you could consider her innocent. She's asked for being drank from. And it's clear she knows exactly what you are and what that means.
I'm going to reach out and take her hand and tell the others to watch the room.
Now, remember, you are Hakata.
I know.
Okay.
Now, Joan, I do have to warn you. My special kiss is not like the others. Are you sure this is what you want?
I mean, what do you mean not like the others?
Does not quite bring the same joy.
See, it's the way it is sometimes, I guess, then. It's part of the cycle, right? We serve the land. You serve us. We've got long life. We've got health. A small price to pay, right?
Do your best not to scream. And he's gonna like take your hand and bring the palm up, like if you're greeting someone, because and he's gonna feed and get a blood point
Now,
or one hunger worth.
Priscilla and Trevor are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Vera, her eyes are locked on you all with Joan. There's a look in her eye. It's obvious she knows exactly what's happening. Very clearly. And Joan, when your fangs sink in, you can hear her stifling a cry. But she doesn't scream out. She made enough successes on her willpower not to. But the grimace on her face, it's obvious it's a lot of pain.
So how are the people? Others? Do they were kind of like anticipation, sort of?
Those people don't even seem to be batting an eye. A couple of them, you can tell are watching. But there's no stress, doesn't look like it phases them at all. It looks like it's something they've seen before.
Question, storyteller.
Yes.
Because this is my first campaign with you. I'm uncertain with how you run it. When a kindred activates like awe or daunt, does like the general populace of the area be like, okay, so this particular individual or this group of individuals is intimating this thing, or is it just like, oh, this area now just has this weird vibe to
Nope,
it?
it's the individual that uses the powers directly.
Okay, got it. I figured. Thank you.
Makes you oh so pretty.
All right, that's so terrible.
Sometimes both at the same time.
And when you're done feeding and lick the wound closed, you can get back 1 blood point if you wish, or 2 if you really want to drain her.
No.
She's there's a tear running down her eye. She goes, that did hurt. It's not like the others. Everyone else, it feels good.
Do you suppose the town gossip? You talk to others about us.
Never to outsiders only.
That's fair. Feel free to let the rest who are in on our little secret. Feel free to give them the warning.
I will. And then she gets up and she kind of woozes a little bit from the blood loss, but then heads back to her seat. And the moment she gets away, Vera comes over and leans in close. There's a price to be paid from feeding in here. You'll pay it in time, don't worry.
Who should I owe this debt to?
It's karma.
As
Karma always comes back. But feel free to drop your van off. I'll fix it.
all right.
I am
thank
not
you.
the instrument of karma.
He's going to leave a $50 bill on the table. If you could make sure Joanne gets a good chicken fried steak,
And orange juice.
of course, and then heads out.
Does everyone follow?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to make you roll wits streetwise, even though you can see the damn hotel. There's a theme.
I'm starting to sense that. Another 1.
Oh no.
3. I'm getting lucky with only having 4 dice.
It's weird as you're walking down the street. Sometimes the fog swirls up higher in front of you, and it almost looks like you're not where you were a second ago. But you get there, right to the hotel. Though the time is seeming to get away from you, it is getting way closer to the dawn than you felt it should be.
I
Um,
officially hate this place.
We have, if I recall, we have properly worded the done the proper blackout curtains as necessary for the
Blackout
hotel.
curtains. It had storm shutters inside the room, solid shutters. It was clear that this room has been used for Kindred more than once. You even saw the residue of duct tape on the edges of the shutters where somebody had duct taped them to make sure nobody could accidentally open them.
What about vents?
There's air vents.
Yeah, I'm going to block those.
Okay. Do you all have a discussion about what happened in the diner before you settle in for the day sleep?
This is the most obvious Masquerade breach I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like with a loophole or something.
exactly. Which brings my question to point: why hasn't Jackson done anything about this sooner?
I mean,
Does
this
he-
town.
What's he getting out of this?
This town is in a different state. I'm not sure Jackson technically claims domain over something this small.
It's not necessarily about domain. You can make the argument that everywhere is Camarilla territory. They just don't realize it, or they just don't want to admit it. That aside, we as Camarilla have the responsibility that even if there is this fuck shit happening outside of our territory, it is close enough to where the powers that be can deal with it. And yet, it seems like we're being dangled over the shark pit. We've worked way better than that. We're not some fucking neonates anymore. So the question remains, what the fuck is going on here to where the prince doesn't give that much of a damn?
What prince? I mean,
Again, there is this gross masquerade breach not happening far from our territory. We have a responsibility to take care of it because a masquerade breach isn't not good, just good for us, but all of us.
have you been to Red Number 5?
I've heard tell of it.
There are various bars in the city of Chicago where the kindred who run the establishment provide dolls. I'm sure you've heard of
Not
the
uncommon.
concept of dolls.
Yes, of course. It's not a practice I prefer, but to each their own.
What do you think the woman in the diner was?
Why do you think I didn't drink without knowing the terms beforehand?
How many of the so-called locals looked on and watched as if nothing was out of the ordinary?
Again, gross masquerade.
It's as
It's
if
not a masquerade breach if they are all in our service.
they said they lived long lives. Are everyone ghouls here?
That is
I mean, it seems unlikely. No, that can't be.
I imagine I would know the difference in taste between a ghoul and a blood doll. A correct
Right.
storyteller?
I mean, you've used Scry the Soul and didn't see any ghouls yet with it.
Yeah.
The blood was very healthy. I will say that.
That's another thing. Why did you do that? Did you just do that because you were expected to, because it was polite, or because or just hunger?
I did it so that she would tell the rest of the dolls. And I won't have to deal with any more annoyances from blood dolls who want, as they call it, the special kiss. The two of you and our missing friend here, well, that's on you. But if this entire fucking town seems to know, seems to want, then, well, you're going to have to, you may expect to be contacted. You may expect, I would be surprised if this is not the last time we were approached for such things. You remember what the bouncer said at the biker bar, right?
Yeah, we're not allowed to drink.
No, he was more directing that at you.
Whatever makes you feel comfortable, that he wasn't addressing all of us, if you want to put it that way.
I mean, was it my face he was all up in? Was it his?
Well, if you had walked at a reasonable pace and headed towards the bar and took lead, perhaps he would have been in your
And
face.
like I said in the fog, you don't stop because that makes you a target, and you don't speed up because that makes you a target. So what did you do to yourself?
I did neither. You're the one who slacked behind. Regardless, despite whatever feeling you may have from your bloodline and their supposed connection with bikers, they weren't giving you any special treatment. You wouldn't have been able to feed there either.
Like I was going to try. Anyway.
My point is, a town of less than 700 people, we've seen 40. 5% of the population easily knows what we are.
Well, we got another day to think about this, and we got to expedite that. I'm hoping, despite her warning, she's going to sabotage the van even further. Just like, Comro will get you, but I'll get your van. I'll fix your van. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I really.
Well,
it's kind of a big hint there.
When it's ready, I'll be the one to drive it out.
Okay.
Have you seen a mobster movie? Case in point, Casino. Beginning of the movie, you see him walk into the car, you get the idea this fuck shit's going on. In the movie, car fucking blows up. Come to find out, there's all this fucking shit going on. But I'm sorry, a car blows up. It's not just the driver that's going to be fucked.
We're going to be like stuck inside a death trap.
Regardless.
I mean, they're all death traps to begin with, but.
Have you seen a car explode outside of a movie?
As a matter of fact, I have. I have a certain interest in munitions.
It takes a lot of explosives for a car to blow up.
Yeah, but if you know
like
where
that.
to put the explosives, it really doesn't take all that much work.
To get it to blow up like that,
you can figure it out.
To get it to blow up like Casino, you need a hell of a lot of explosives.
At the same time, in Casino, there was the whole, the manufacturer had this plate under the driver's seat thing. Again, they have enough time, they can research the car and figure stuff out to make it possible.
Well,
and we just glossed over. I mean, yes, we look out for our own survival, but there's no way we're going to complete our mission, right? It's just, we're not going to find. It's just not going to happen.
We either sent here to die or chase our own fucking tails.
We have an agreement in place with the owner of this establishment that if he doesn't make himself shown, we have access to his room.
Yeah.
Now, the other option, if you're ready to give up already, I mean, she probably has an open shop. The van's still there. Keys are right there. Feel free to head on back to Chicago and tell Sovereign what you found.
No, that's okay. I mean,
no.
I'm just
That's a
saying
stupid
I'm not
card.
expecting much. I mean, I'm expecting a lot to have happened to him. But why us? It just seems we're so
Exactly.
expendable. We're just
Yes.
Goes back to my earlier comment of we're not neonates. So why are we the ones being
well. Sorry, Charlie, I would be a neonate, right? Because I was. Yeah. So, well, I'm the one. I'm the neonate that they want to throw away.
The Hakata are still not in the inner circle of the Camarilla.
I don't know much. All I know is I came from Montana, then to run away from something, and then I foolishly, I guess, asked the prince for protection in Chicago, and I'll do whatever. And this is the whatever.
and I know what this is. This is because I'm with them, but I'm not with them. I mean, sure. Bruja, we were one of the founders. Recent histories would argue that we're more suited for, the rabble, but I've been loyal. I've gone out of my way. I have provided. And yet I am not enough. So they are getting rid of me because I am not.
Or they found someone better.
That too.
Yeah.
So you know what, little neonate? You want to survive? You want to prove to them, like I'm going to prove to them that they can't get rid of me? Okay. If we get out of this,
Mm-hmm.
question for you. Is your sire around?
Oh, you mean if he's still amongst? Oh, I hope not.
Okay. So if you have no relation to your sire and you are Camarilla without someone to speak for you, we get out of this within the rights of someone of my age, within the Camarilla. I will take you on as my child. We get out of this, I will adopt you. We will together just, show them what we can do. Make ourselves not as expendable as they think we are. What do you say?
I mean, I have a nice shack in one of the parks.
I mean,
I can.
Just because I adopt you doesn't mean I take ownership of everything that you have. It's
just what it feels like now.
No, I mean, okay. Think of it this way: if you get yourself into some tough shit, you're gonna have a lawyer in your court. If you get put into a situation where someone tries to blame you of breaking the masquerade, trying to take down somebody's domain, I could argue for you. I could bring proof, and I would in turn hope that you would not neglect this enragement. And if I see, signs after the point to where you're taking advantage, trying to, what and not, then I am within my rights to request your destruction.
I mean, I guess
I have a lot to teach you.
That is an interesting use of the force. And at that comment, Brother Jacob is going to go and lock himself in a bathroom.
Dawn is approaching fast. You're
Yes.
already starting to feel the sluggishness.
I'll let you sleep on it.
Yeah. See, talk about it tomorrow night.
Fare thee well.
As
All right.
the three kindred go into that sleep that is day sleep. For two of you, there are no dreams. But for Brother Jacob, you are in an untouched wilderness, except you are not Brother Jacob. You do not remember who you are at this moment. You know you are standing in an untouched wilderness and you need to move forward. There is someone you need to meet, someone you love, and she is waiting for you. It's in a clearing of trees just ahead.
Am I still dressed as Brother Jacob?
No, when you look down, you are in moccasins and obviously in Native American garb. And it feels right.
Okay. And continuing forward towards whatever this is that is beckoning him.
And you move forward knowing she's waiting in the clearing up ahead. And as you approach this clearing, the sunlight coming down on you, you come upon an odd patch of shadow, a shadow patch that should not be there. The daylight is streaming in. It's almost black as night. And the woman you've come to see is standing in it. Native American woman. Your love. You felt nothing but love for her. And you've come to meet her. But she won't leave the shadows. She waits in the shadows for you to approach her. And when you approach her, she looks at you. It can't be. You can't be what you want. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry for this. And then there's blinding pain and a feeling of being trapped, locked away. And all you feel is that isolation, that aloneness, as this dream repeats over and over and over for the entire length of your day sleep. And right here, everybody, excuse me. Yes, Brother Jacob.
At any point in this repeating dream where Brother Jacob is out in the sun, does he get burned by
No.
the sun?
And as it repeats, this is where we're going to go to break, everybody. We will see you in 10 minutes. Please enjoy the break. Welcome back, everybody. Well, before the break, they set out to explore the town, found out something is making them lost or tries to make them lost every time they go anywhere, even if it's in sight. The fog is malignant. There is a sacred geometry cage over this place, but the people seem to like to be fed on by vampires, which is a problem. And of course, Brother Jacob had a very interesting day sleep. Now, Brother Jacob, when you awake the next night, you remember your dream perfectly and your memories come back. It's not like you forget your Brother Jacob. You just know during that dream, you had no memories of being Brother Jacob. It wasn't until you woke that you're trying to rectify the two different thoughts. And as the sun goes down and you start to move again, your sluggish bodies once again move with life. You awaken in your room. Brother Jacob still barricaded in the bathroom. I turn it over to the players.
Storyteller, does, from my memory of the town, Do I get any sense that my dream happened somewhere nearby?
You instinctively know that it happened in this town. And from the feeling of your dream, it was somewhere near the gas station and the diner. You don't know how you know, but you know.
He will get dressed and enter out of the bathroom.
Oh, we should probably do rouse checks.
Oh,
Yes,
Yep.
please do.
Passed.
Oh, praise the Lord.
success.
Remaining at 2.
I'm good. You were comfortable there?
Comfortable and
You know, it really doesn't matter, right?
I don't know. I just always had someone who gets somewhat comfy.
So, oh, wait. Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Okay. No matter how you fall asleep, everything will be fine. All the aches and pains, all the like out of hips out of place or whatever, all that shit that bothered you in your day to day, it's just perpetually going to be there forever. You can't make it any worse. You can't make it any better.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I was turned a year or so ago. It's been nearly 20 years, but it's
didn't you say you were turned in like Montana or on some wilderness preserve? How did you find a bed out there?
no.
I figured you slept in caves or something.
No, well, I did that several times. It wasn't really in my form. Always. It was as I was always as a creature. So I kind of, did the thing that big cats do.
You cuddle other. Anyway,
Now with oh god. No.
so anyways,
Yeah.
there's something in this town. I spent the last several hours walking through a field towards a woman in darkness. The sun did not burn my flesh.
How
But
did you
yet
feel?
her touch was agony. Imagine it's a fair revenge to what any mortal I feed off of goes through. Perhaps that was the karma Vera was talking about.
It's just one dream, then I guess that's better than being in a cage.
Well, I don't typically dream, and when I do, I don't relive moments of agony repeatedly for hours on end.
No.
Relive is possibly the wrong word because it wasn't you. You've never seen that person been in love with that woman existed in that time, correct?
Correct. The sun did not burn my flesh, and the air fills my lungs. I feel relived is an appropriate summary of what I experienced.
Okay, theory from last night, go with it. Remember how I said like the land is possibly living and seeking revenge. Our dormant state, because we're technically in torpor and doing the day, it allowed that entity enough of a space to fulfill something. We still have some sort of connection, some sort of synapses. while it inhibited us, it kind of reconnected and reinflated. But because it was the active one,
If any of
what
you are,
remains, maybe, I don't know. I'm just
Well-
spitballing here.
if any of you are willing to experiment, there are other mortals, I'm sure, could test to see if feeding from them is the cause.
I wonder if the same for the wildlife.
Well, if
Hmm.
we see some wildlife,
I'm
feel free to enlighten me. Our sewer emo friend, I don't suppose has made himself known. So much for the idea of calling a rat and sending it into the room we are not allowed to access yet.
I don't know any rats, unfortunately.
Well, then we can continue on our evening after what we have learned. Do either of you have a desired interest in anything in the town?
Well, everything is interesting, but it's also probably pretty deadly.
Hmm.
I just don't know what we're stepping our toes into. But if we have to,
I mean,
I'm curious about this cage now. I mean,
we could always explore the cemetery.
yes.
It's open space, as it were. But yet, we must not get too deep because there is the fog to consider and the fact that they kind of likes to show up a little bit early here, apparently.
I have an idea.
Hmm.
Brother Jacob is going to go out into the hallway and knock on the door of the brothers.
You step out of the room, and when you step out of the room, the first thing you notice is hung from the doorknob of your room is a key. The key is to room 207 down the hall. When you go and knock on the brothers' doors, there is no answer. None at all.
I'm going to continue on to room 207.
Okay. Does everyone follow?
I guess as soon as I heard it, like a little thing on the doorknob, is kind of,
You could hear the key
What?
hit the door when he opened it.
I would figure that's what would happen. So I'm like, let's at least check on that.
When you go down to 207, the key fits right in the lock and you turn it. And inside the room, you met with a room that is obviously something's going on in here. Mattress is knocked over, lamp knocked down, chairs falling over. There was obviously a struggle of some kind in this room. Shutters are closed, taped, and you can even see the glint of a nail head. They closed the shutters, nailed them closed, and then taped all the gaps.
I'm gonna roast prowess.
Okay.
We're at hunger 3.
Your beast is eerily silent as your hunger increases.
I have tracking for investigation. I want to see if this room's been tampered with in some way.
Intelligence and investigation with your tracking specialty, or you can go wits. Either one. I'll let you use either one.
I'd rather do wits. 1 success.
You gonna
I'm gonna spend
willpower
that
that?
will. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna willpower that.
So I am also going to do a investigation. I'm more concerned about how this room was accessed. Looking for any indication that whatever caused this came in a way other than the front door. And B, I'm going to look for, any evidence of that the resident of this room may have had something of interest to the kindred of Chicago or kindred in general.
Okay.
And I will rouse intelligence.
So Trevor, for willpower, you only roll 3 dice. Not the full roll.
I do willpower.
Yeah, just rolled the whole thing again. If you use a willpower, you roll 3 dice. So easy way to do it is to right click the die at the bottom left and just pick 3 and throw that in the chat window. That's the easiest way to do it.
I'll
For you, Zach, feel free to roll wits awareness, wits investigation, intelligence investigation.
I'm going to go with intelligence investigation.
Okay.
I got hungrier.
Your
Nothing.
beast is also silent.
And I got 6 successes.
6 successes. Impressive.
Whoa,
As you're
better tracker than me.
sweeping the room and investigating, the first thing you notice, the lock. There are scratches on the door lock on the outside. Obvious marks where somebody has picked the lock. Whoever did it, while they managed to pick the lock, they were heavy-handed with their picks and left telltale marks around the lock as they were fumbling and trying quickly to pick a lock. Searching in the room, you don't find anything that would tell you that the owner was ever in here. There is no personal effects, no satchel, no anything. But from the look of it, a lot of successes. You would guess that they came upon him through the door while he was in the bed, based on the way the sheets are. But he managed to wake up and a struggle ensued. You would put at least 3 attackers were in here with him based on some scuffs on the carpet, the disposition of the furniture. But whoever it is definitely made sure to pick up every single personal effect.
I'm guessing they cleaned up any spilled blood that there may have been as well.
Not a single drop of spilled blood in the place. Let's see, and a further bonus for 6. I love rewarding that. There's an odd colored stain on the carpet. Looks like something was dripping or some sort of liquid. You can't identify it based on the color. You don't know what the hell it is. It is a reddish, bloodish color, but you know damn well that blood, when it dries, is not that red. It actually dries into the rust color. And it's not a rust color. It's a bright red color. Touching it, it's still slightly damp, and it shouldn't be, but it's sticky.
No adverse effects from touching it.
Nope.
Do I have any on my finger?
You have a little bit. If you want to wipe it off, you easily can. Or if you're brave, you can touch it to your tongue.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with it. Is there any rule to figure out what the hell this is? Possibly intelligence and cult?
Sure, I'll go with that. I like that. Player suggests something. Let's go with that.
Okay.
And we'll see what you get. You don't have Bloodhound.
I do not.
Because that would be an easy little trick.
I think that
It would have been. That's 3 successes.
3 successes. The moment you touch it to your tongue, a feeling of drowsiness rolls over you. Very brief. but noticeable. You get sleepy. Which is odd because Kendra don't really get sleepy. You feel the lethargy rolling of daytime, but it's not the same as feeling sleepy. You just feel slower as you approach day. This, you feel sleepy. And there are trace elements of blood in it. Very little. You doubt you could be blood bonded with that little bit.
Well, hopefully it's been sitting out long enough that wouldn't be an issue either.
Generally, it wouldn't be.
Despite my flaw. I'm just going to kind of take a seat and try to clear his head.
Trevor, you do have bloodhound, right?
Yes, I was going to say, I do have that.
You can
just
smell
remembered.
it. Once he pulled it up and he was putting it near his tongue, you got close enough to smell it. There is trace elements of blood, but there's also an earthiness to it. Reminds you, damn, if you didn't know any better, it reminds you almost of a sap, tree sap of some kind.
This is, I mean, there's definitely blood in this, but the other thing seems a bit of nature, like sap from a tree or something.
Well, the closest plant that I can think of that would have this type of effect would be the poppy. So
Can I do put on Eyes of the Beast to see if there's anything?
Eyes of the Beast will really just let you see in the dark completely.
Yeah,
Doubt you'd be able
That's
to
what I
see anything
figured.
special from it.
yeah, I didn't roll well for my tracking investigation, so oh well.
I imagine anything since the unseen would already have been triggered by now, since it's technically passive.
And as you're standing there, and Brother Jacob, you're sitting in the chair, kind of, the effect of the sleepiness is worn off pretty quickly, but it was definitely noticeable. Woman pokes her head in the door. It's Lydia, the Tremere. What the? Did y'all wreck his room?
We found it like this.
But I just gave you the key. It was locked,
There's
wasn't it?
If you take a look at the lock, you may notice that there's been some damage to the lock before we got here. If you had been keeping an eye on a valued guest, you might have caught on to this some time before. When was the last night that he was seen?
Came and checked in about a week ago, a little bit less. I saw him that night, would check in. I saw him the next day. He was said he was recuperating, was going to be heading to Chicago on the following night. And he mentioned something about he was going to go check out the cornfield. It seems to be popular by a lot of people. Didn't see him again. I figured didn't turn his key in. You know how diplomat types are. They get kind of distracted sometimes. And I figured he just was into something he didn't want to share.
Your clan has been known to be skillful in uncovering mysteries of the blood. Is that a talent that you possess?
And no, not of the mysteries of the blood, though I can read the room.
I'm just going to point to the stain. Can you get anything from that?
She walks in. And she lays her hand on the floor, and you see her close her eyes, and she's, at first there's a look of concentration and relaxation as she lets it flow through. And you can see her eyes fluttering behind her eyelids. And then she stands up. Cold detachment. Zealotry. Exaltation of what was being done. He was taken. And there's something about lethargy. It's not coming from daylight. It's something put him to sleep.
Mhm.
And then all I can sense is their joy at succeeding. They violated the sanctity of my establishment.
Like we know where the sleepiness came from.
My skills with the sight are not as developed as yours clearly are. I don't suppose you saw who.
No, I know some in my clan have that trait. They can see a little more clearer when they scry than I do. That's not always where my talents lie.
I imagine you have some measure of security in this hotel.
It's an old hotel. I've got wards that tell me when a kindred enters the building. I've got wards that tell me when certain other supernaturals come through. It's a small town. It's not like we get a lot of kindred visitors. It's not like I've needed anything else.
Other supernatural visitors, has that warning have ever been triggered? Besides kindred?
No, I only put them in place because there was talk when I came here of lupine in a part of town, but I've never seen them. Never. I think that's all myth. I don't think they were ever here. In case you don't know, the lupine aren't giant fans of the goblin roads. They seem to attract unwanted attention when they step in them.
Curious.
Yes.
I meant like security cameras.
No, haven't needed them.
Of course, that would have made this a lot more easy.
Look, I know you're sent here by Jackson. I don't want to be on his bad side. I'm hoping to get this exile lifted. There's strange shit going on in this town. Strange shit. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the corn. It's growing.
Never been a farmer. I assume corn is supposed to grow.
Not this time of year. It's also the strange behavior of the town folk. Town this size, farming community. But they don't go to church.
I did find that odd, yes.
Closed.
They claim they're spiritual.
If you looked at the almanac,
Their own self-published almanac.
yeah, it's all about the harvest festival, the planting festival. And from my uncoverings, they have some of the strangest ways to fertilize the fields. They fertilize it with blood. And leftover whatever.
Blood of what?
Animals, mostly. I suspect some of the disappearances were not animals. In case you haven't come to realize, a town this size having a tourist industry is suspicious. Who in the fuck would come to this podunk place for tourism?
Could you tell me anything about that fire that happened at the hotel? Is there any signs that there might be some connection? I've heard tell that there's, cleansing, purifying, rebirthing aspects to it as much as there is destruction.
You talking the old fire?
Yeah.
Haven't been able to find out much about that. It was just listed. I mean, it goes back to the oddness you see around here. Population is only 665. Stays that number too, which is strange. They don't count tourists though, of course. You go to the graveyard, there's a lot of them are unmarked, but I've done my investigation. There's thousands of graves there.
Thousands?
Some sort of anomaly always starts to just pop up to maintain the population.
That fire,
That's the will.
the newspapers are suspiciously lacking. The only thing I found, and I investigated that, it intrigued me, being Tremere. I found one article that mentioned it got out of hand and they don't know how they'll be able to keep it under wraps. One article. And then next time I went looking for it, the microfilm was gone. Microfiche, gone, not there. No other notice in any of the others. Nothing after, nothing before. It's a strange town.
We've kind of figured that out ourselves. Just this fog. Does this happen every night? Or at least around this time of year?
Only when we have kindred visitors. I have theories, but I regret to tell you, you're not leaving anytime soon.
We're kind of afraid of that, yes.
I've tried to leave before. Get in a car, drive west, end up driving back into town. Get in a car, drive east, end up driving back into town. I have theories what it'll take to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Theories, but how in the fuck do I prove them? The only way to leave is if all of us leave. All the kindred. If one remains, we all stay.
Then how does your count on how many remain in the town?
There's me, that shithead Emmanuel, Mariarch. Good luck getting Emmanuel to leave.
And our courier.
From what I'm seeing in here, are you sure the courier's even around?
I'm not. Although, I suppose if we were to somehow to convince Emmanuel and this Marriott person, kindred, to all get in a van and go, if he's still around, we won't get very far.
That's true. Mariarch could probably be easy. She was sire, don't know who her sire is, was left to fend for herself, wandered into the town. She's not doing well adjusting to being a kindred. Manuel, that little shit's a whole nother discussion.
Well, how long has she been? How long ago was she embraced?
I don't know how long she was been embraced. She's been in the town 5 or 6 years now.
Brother Jacob was just going to side-eye Trevor.
She says she's having a hard time adjusting.
When she showed up, she was wearing a Nomad's jacket. So I assume she was part of a biker gang that got feasted on. For some reason, somebody turned her.
What clan is Emmanuel?
Toreador, from what I understand. Oh, just wait till he finally decides to meet with you. He'll tell you all about it. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the social media.
I'm fairly certain you made some of those words up just now.
Wish I
In
had.
either case, my colleague here was did have some concerns regarding the diner. Perhaps you can tell us a bit more about it.
And she gets real cagey. I mean, it's obvious, no role needed. What do you mean concerns?
A significant portion of the town appears to know what you are, what Emmanuel is. And without getting close enough to where they should be able to tell what we are.
I don't know when it all started. When I came here, it was only me. I was only kindred, but they already knew what I was the moment I came here. It's almost like they can sense when one of our kind are around.
I don't suppose you tried to leave before Emmanuel or Marriott showed up then.
I'm exiled, sent to this damn place by Abraham, told to wait it out. That in time, they will smooth things over and I will be allowed to return to the Chantry. Obviously, that's not going as well as I hoped. And
I think they knew.
I was caught up in a problem, okay? My grandsire is Karna. They blame me for the theft of the Book of the Grave War. I didn't do it, know nothing about it, didn't even like her. And I get this. But I'm loyal, and I want to go back.
Well, the sooner we can get what we need for the courier, then the sooner we can figure out leaving. We can't, well, I can't speak for all of us. I will not be returning to Chicago without information of what I came for. So, of course, anything you can do to help will therefore help speed along our ability to leave. Of course, we cannot leave without you, as you say.
I would
But when we
suggest
return, we can always explain how useful you are in our investigation.
I would suggest you go check out the cornfield. I would go with you, but I can't. And when I say I can't, I mean I can't. I've tried. After my first few investigations, every time I try to go there, I end up somewhere else. Apparently, whatever this is in this town doesn't want me snooping anymore.
Else, so it didn't take you right back here? You find your way back?
I'd end up in the graveyard, outside the church, outside the last the saloon, sometimes the diner, sometimes random parts of the damn town. Get lost.
Quite literally.
And I know that it's not natural. Trust me, I've already checked that. It's not blood sorcery either.
Did you, Brother Jacob, that cage?
Her
Or
eyes narrow. Her eyes narrow at you saying that cage, and her eyes lock on Brother Jacob.
I would have imagined with your amount of time that you spent here and your clan's reported abilities and knowledges, you would be aware of the geometric patterns that have created a cage in the ley lines of this town.
It is the gas station, the diner, and the graveyard. And those are the focal points. It's not what keeps us here. It keeps something else. I don't know what it is. I know it's powerful. I don't know what it is, though. That is the cage. And the cage is meant to contain one thing. Don't know who did it. I don't know who the hell has the power to redirect the ley lines. They're not supposed to be here. They were moved here.
Assuming that person who set this all up is still around, I'm guessing.
I don't know who, if you believe our past, maybe one time Tremere could have done it. Magic isn't what it once was. Neither's blood magic, to be honest. We couldn't do this now. The architect might, I've heard rumors he still can. But I know he's never been here that I've heard of. Last I heard, he was in New York.
I think we're not going to get any answers just staying around talking. I'm sorry, if we want out, we're going to have to work for it.
Wish I had more info. Maybe Manuel does. I don't know. My contacts tell me his departure from Chicago was odd.
Oh.
Sorry, Schiller, just to confirm, we have we had cell service in this town?
No. You'll see bars, but then it immediately goes away. You've got no text updates. Even your news alerts aren't coming through.
I see.
I wish I could be more help. It's a mystery, and I've been studying it. If I had access to Chantry resources, I might even be able to find a fucking answer. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So do you all decide now to set out for the cornfield? Or you got somewhere else in town to be?
think we should at least speak to Emmanuel first in case we get lost.
Yeah. That, and I think the more intel we can gather about not just the cornfield, but the graveyard would be best. So if we do have to trap what is within ourselves, let us say, we could head back to the bar. Well, not the bar, but the cafe if absolutely necessary. And so she'll smile in a way to kind of flash one tooth to say, if I get any worse, I'm going to have to satisfy myself without actually saying it.
I assume we get enough information that it would make, and we can. Would it be? Is she able to provide enough information about the town that it would eliminate the need to do investigating through, say, the local library and things of that nature?
She's told you what she's managed to discover.
She's been here quite a time. I
Mhm.
imagine she's had the ability to find a lot more than we might in a simple.
And the fact that she hasn't should worry you.
Yeah. I am fine with going to the cornfield, though.
I'll, I mean, if you need me to stake out a few things, I'm used to doing that, even though I'm not kind of comfortable doing that alone. So you get the general vibe of maybe the graveyard, at least.
So you've kind of made it clear that animals are more your taste than.
That's kind of what I'm hoping to do, because
Well, then perhaps you can go hunt. Maybe find out if there's any reason why we haven't seen evidence of one since we drove into the town.
that's the plan. I'll let you know. I'll try to catch up with you, I guess, with the manual or near the graveyard or the cornfield. I'll find you.
And as people step into the night, you're struck by the oddest scene. Lining all the electrical poles, the lines, lining the tops of buildings, even perched on tops of cars and mailboxes. Magpies. Hundreds and hundreds of magpies just staring at you all. Not moving, not flying. Heads locked on your position as you step from the building. And this is where we're going to end. Episode 2 of Bloodied Fields. I'd like to thank my players, of course. Trevor has to step away. He's actually supposed to be somewhere. He's already running late. So I've told him to step away and go, and I'll boot him from Zoom here in a minute. But I'm glad he could make it and stay till the end of it. I do thank my players, of course. It's a fucked up town, people. And it's only going to get worse. We're not done this story yet. I'm seeing 3, maybe 4 episodes. It ends when we all get to the end of the story. Great role play this episode, though. Great role play. I'm actually going to give you all bonus XP. Y'all get 3 XP for this session for the role play because I liked it. So it's starved game, but there you go. Of course, if you want to join us on our Discord, so this show was cast from our Discord. That's where we cast our shows. So that's how we've got Priscilla and Trevor and Brother Jacob. I posted up a casting call. They said they wanted to play. Boom. They started playing. Join us on the Discord. We do Zoom hangouts. It used to be weekly, but to be fair, Rolyn and I's schedule right now has been kind of rough, so it's not easy to do weekly, but we do them as often as we can. If you want to catch our back episodes, pop over to our YouTube. You get our back episodes. All first episode of this, all the Windy City, Vampire, Changeling, Werewolf, Wraith, Demon, Monster Hearts, Nighthawks, Paranoia, Zastracala. Holy shit, there's so much shit in that back episodes.
Bro Hunters.
Get Bro Hunters. The new stream that shall not be named because of what went on in that. In the second one, not the first one. The first one was pretty good. Second one got boarded on Twitch violations. Unfortunately, it's got out of hand. You want to catch our friends? Pop over to our friends, RPG Table, Ravenous Archon, Mischievous Red, the Ivy Raven, but we've also got other friends. So first we're going to go, Zach Rules, what do you got going on?
I am Zach Rinaldi, he, him. I can be found on the Bird app and theoretically other social media apps at Zach Rules. The ones that I am not at Zach Rules, you could try Zach Rules Dice. And if neither of those hit, then I don't use those at all. But really, I only use Twitter, so that would be the important one. I am a TTRG. I can't talk right now.
You'll get it.
I write community content and freelance writing for tabletop role-playing games. You can find my website, zachrules.com, and I have various, links to my writing and past streams that I've been in. I have an upcoming stream that I will be the story guide for right here on this channel starting Tuesday, March 21st. Scion Zero to Hero. Nobody in the game has played Scion before. It'll be an interesting experience.
That should be fun. Yep. And also, so everyone's aware, the upcoming Dark Ages stream, you'll see Zach Rules in that as well. He is one of the cast members of the upcoming Dark Ages game. So you'll get even more Zach Rules. Fun macaroni as we role play at the table. And now, Diviner Astrid, what you got going on?
Yeah, hi, I am Astrid Dean, she, her, them, they. Speaking of weird-ass towns, tomorrow I'm coming back with Tucson by Night, where I am the storyteller, Dark Santa Tabletop. So if you've seen them in chat, that's me. Hi, hey, how you doing? I'm also an affiliate to Level Up Dice. So if you have a thing for aesthetically pleasing click-clacks and, like being a little bit extra, I'll put a link to that in chat. I'm also putting more into my business, which is selling crystals, minerals, things like that, reading tarot. I have a EID number for example, so I'm stepping up my game. As a matter of fact, with the link I will be sharing with my affiliate code for Level Up, I have a link that it will get you 15% off all the minerals that I have in my shop right now. Active for just a few more days. I've been sharing it in some communities that have been close to my heart recently. And when I say close to my heart, I mean giving me something to do rather than the whole, living this thing that we call life. It's nice to have a place like this. So thanks, McStabbers, for letting me come and play with y'all. Appreciate it.
We try. We like playing. For those that don't understand, one of the things we love to do about the studio is we love to play with different people. That's why we have the cast is not the same in every stream. We like to have varied people in every cast, just so you get a chance to play with different people and get the chance to see different people. Book of Revelation. No, that's Revelations of the Dark Mother. Mm-hmm. So, of course, so bits and donations, everybody, those goes to the players, not to the studio. The studio does not take the bits and donations. We only get, we have to take the taxes out because we get taxed hard as fuck on that. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But the bits and donations, they go to the player, not to the studio. If you want to give something to the studio, KoFi, or subscribe here on Twitch. Twitch is a pimp. They take half. KoFi doesn't, just so you know. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button, comment on the video. There's all things drive the engagement up, which drives us up in the search engine so that, we can make a whole $26 in YouTube revenue for a month. Ooh, all them big YouTube bucks, TTRPG is a niche space. You'll never get rich doing it. Unless your name is Wizards of the Coast, and then you get rich off the backs of everybody else. I'm just saying. I might have opinions on that. Schedule this week. This week's schedule is, tomorrow there is no Windy City stream for only the second time since Windy City has started. we are taking a Sunday off. We're giving the players and the cast and you, the viewers, a Sunday off to do what you want. We're not going to be having a Windy City stream tomorrow. There will be Call of Cthulhu next Saturday at 3 p.m. in this time slot. So DM Tiss will be back. And then, of course, that following Sunday, which would be, if I'm remembering correctly, which I'm not going to, I'm going to have to look it up just to make sure I'm remembering correctly. The 19th is a night with your boy Twitch. And that is where your boy Twitch will come through and give you the summary of season 9 of Windy City, which also means the 26th Windy City season 10 starts. So please, everybody, enjoy that. The season summary. Remember, he gives spoilers about what may be coming because your boy Twitch, well, other than being an informant for the Alisters, he's an observer. He likes to observe. So catch that. And as I end all these streams, everybody, so you know, please take your mental health seriously. Take the mental health of others seriously. Mental health is not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. We take mental health very seriously around here. Check in on those around you, family, friends, loved ones, people you haven't heard from. Even if every time you've talked to them, they seem cheerful. Masking is a thing. A lot of the people who are hurting the most, they hide it. And anyone who suffers from those kind of conditions get very good at masking. And myself, I'm included in all that. And if you suffer from mental health issues, like I just said, me, please reach out to those around you. Get the support you need. And if you don't feel you have people you can get support from, because I know some people don't, in chat's a list of numbers you can call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There'll be a professional on the other end of the line that'll help you through it. And if you're not in the U.S., because we do have non-U.S. viewers, right now, there's Find a Helpline listed there in chat. And you can put in your country of origin and find out the helplines for the area that you're in. So please, mental health is health. And while it's okay to not be okay, we want you to get better. We want you to take care of yourself. And since Mama's not here, I can do her portion of the outro. First of all, please get your damn COVID shots. I have COPD. Please don't kill Shanky. I'm COVID vaccinated, which means I might actually survive it, maybe. But with COPD, even the vaccination shots aren't guarantee I won't be in the ICU. So please get your vaccine shots. Try not to spread all that love that nobody wants. And also, please get your flu shots, flu season, all that good stuff. And fuck the fascists. If you look at what's going on in the world, it's not just a U.S. problem. Fascism is on a rise worldwide. And, everyone likes to claim the other side is fascist, but look to the ones banning books. Look at the ones who are banning drag shows. Look to the ones who are trying to tell you can't do that. You can't make a decision about that for your own good. We're going to get rid of it for you. That should give you a clear indication of where the fascists are. It's not rocket science, people. Take it from someone who works with rocket scientists. It's not rocket science. And I do thank everyone for coming. Trans rights are human rights. A woman has the right to decide what to do with their own body. Body autonomy is important. I thank you all for coming. Good night, everybody. See you next time.